story, Rabbi. All right, you're going to be coming with us. We want you to visit the police station for some more interrogation. And they took the Shpoya Zaidi to jail. As much as he tried to argue he's innocent, they found evidence on him. Stolen products, with even the name of the hotel on the bag. And they said, okay, sir, you have to spend some time in jail till we can investigate and explore other options. Maybe we'll catch a different thief if what you're saying is really true. While the Shpoya Zaidi was in jail, he made sure not to eat anything that wasn't kosher. He would only eat the vegetables, but nothing of the meat or fish. How does he know it's kosher? As he was in jail, he was putting on his talis and tefillin, and he was davening. And he noticed there was someone else in the jail. He said, good afternoon, sir. Sorry that we're here. God willing, hopefully we'll be free men soon. And the man was very quiet. He looked very sad, very depressed, very bitter. I guess that's what a person feels like when they're locked up behind bars in a tiny cement room without much of life's beauty there to enjoy. There's not even a window to enjoy some nice, beautiful sunshine or blossoming trees. And it turns out the Shpoya Zaidi is davening and he's learning Torah, and the other person is so angry and so mad. And every now and then the Shpoya Zaidi would try to start a conversation with him, but the man was in his own little world, closed and locked up. One day, the man in jail said to the Shpoya Zaidi, you know those things you put on, those black boxes? The Shpoya Zaidi said, yes, Mahela gets tefillin. He says, well, my grandfather used to wear those. So the Shpoya Zaidi said, really? So you must be a Jew. You must be a Jew if you're able to wear that. You said your father wore this. He said, yeah, my father wore this all right. Yeah, I'm a Jew. So the Shpoya Zaidi said to him, you're a Jew? That's great. So then you should be wearing tefillin too. And the man said, well, I stopped keeping those commandments a long time ago. So the Shpoya Zaidi said to him, you can't stop keeping the mitzvos. You have to keep the mitzvos. That's our job in this world, to serve our Creator. We owe Him our lives. And at that time, he kept on carefully doing the mitzvos, and eventually the Shpoya Zaidi was mashpia on this other Jew who was in jail to start doing mitzvos. And he put on him a talis. He made a bracha on a talis. He said, this is such a great mitzvah. It's equal to all the mitzvos. And then he put on tefillin. He said, wow, someone who wears tefillin, it's like he's learning Torah, which is the greatest mitzvah. And then he started teaching him about Chumash. And he would learn with him the Parsha of the week. And he learned with him some Mishnayos. And he learned with him some Gemara. And it was so exciting. It was so beautiful. Because this man really never got to go to yeshiva. He never got a good education. And now in jail, in the couple days that he was with the Shpoya Zaidi, he was teaching him about the Parsha and about Shabbos. What a gift Shabbos is. And the man was getting so turned on to Yiddishkeit. He said, if I ever get out of jail, I'm going to do the mitzvos. And I'm going to be a good Jew and not be a bad boy like I was. The Shpoya Zaidi said, so tell me, I'm sorry to ask, but how did you end up in jail? And listen to what the man said. The man said, he ended up in jail. What happened was, he ended up marrying a Geisha person, and she let him work together with his father, but then he found out that her father was really a gangster, a crook, and eventually he became part of the business, and one day the police caught them doing something illegal, and he ended up putting the son-in-law in jail. And he says, can you imagine? They blame me for it. Oh, I can't believe it. And the Shpoya Zaidi said, well, you should have known better than to marry a shiksa, to marry a goya. What do you think's going to happen? He says, oh, when I get out of here, I'm going to tell them I don't want to have anything to do with their family anymore. And I want to maybe get married again. And I hope I get to marry a Jewish girl and build a good Jewish home. And the Shpoya Zaidi said, Hashem will help you. Hashem always tries to help people, unless people try not to help themselves. And a couple days later, the warden said, okay, Rabbi, it seems that we got evidence that there might be someone else who was guilty of the theft, and we're going to let you go. After all, we got back the stolen goods anyway. No use of you staying in jail. And we do apologize if there was some type of mix-up, but we're just trying to keep the law here, and that's why you have to spend some time behind bars. And as the Shpoya Zaidi was leaving the jail, he turned to the Jewish man there, and he says, you know, I want to leave you a present. And he takes out his talis and his tefillin and his siddur and his chumash, and he says, I want to give you this. Mishnayos, I want to give you too, but I don't know if you'll be able to learn it by yourself. Here, this is easy to learn. Learn the chumash, not so hard to learn. You told me you know basic words of Hebrew. Stay in the jail and learn some Torah there. Maybe one day you'll get out. And when you get out, come visit me. I live in such and such town. And make sure you ask for the Shpoya Zaidi, and I'll try to help you find a shidduch and help you get married. And the Shpoya Zaidi left. And the man said, thank you. Thank you for this great present, this great gift. You gave me your own talis and tefillin to wear. You are the nicest man. And as the Shpoya Zaidi was leaving, he was thinking to himself, he had an internal dialogue. And he said, now I know why Hashem let me be in jail. Hashem wanted me to know and to meet this other Jewish man and to encourage him and inspire him. And now, Baruch Hashem, is able to live a life of some Torah mitzvahs when he gets out of jail. It turns out the Shpoya Zaidi was heading to the train, and the train was leaving in a few hours. Suddenly, he hears someone screaming his name. And he turns around, and it's the Jew from the jail. He said, how did you get out of jail? And he says, oh boy, let me tell you what happened. When I was in jail, after you left, I was sitting there praying with the talis and the tefillin, and the warden came over to me. He said that because I had good behavior, they're going to let me out of jail. And I was so happy. And the warden said, well, we have good news and bad news for you. The good news is we're going to let you go. You served enough time for your crime. But the bad news is that we got a telegram from your former wife. She says she wants nothing to do with you anymore, and that you shouldn't even try to contact her. And the man said, whoopee! I didn't want to have anything to do with that Gentile family, those goyim. All they did was teach me crime and teach me injustice. Wow, I wish I could repay all the things I stole with them. But anyway, the rabbi told me that every day is a new chapter in your life. Every day is a new beginning. And I'm going to live my life as an Orthodox Jew. And he kissed the warden. And the warden said, you're not supposed to kiss me. He says, listen, I want to thank you for giving me my freedom. And as he left, he said, let me just grab this talis and the tefillin. This is the best day of my life. I feel like I'm born again. I think this is going to be my bar mitzvah day. Even though he was 39 years old, he said, I feel like a bar mitzvah boy, just beginning a new life of serving Hashem and fulfilling His commandments. And as he started running, he ran after the Shpoya Zaidi, and the Shpoya Zaidi embraced him. He said, wow, Chazal say, Tov l'tzadik, Tov l'shchenai. When you're next to a tzaddik, it's good for you. Well, I guess it was good. We spent some time together. And just like I became free, you're free. And you know what? Come with me to my house. And he introduced him to his family, and he spent some time learning with him, some Torah, some Midrashim, some Gemaras, some Halachas, and eventually the man became a Baal Tshuva, and he found him a Shidduch, and it was one of the happiest chasanas, because people knew that this man that he's making a Shidduch was once a convict in jail, and now he's serving Hashem as an Ir L'Chayid, and it was a great simcha for everybody. because people realized the greatness of the Shpoya Zaidi, that even when he was in jail, he was able to be mashpia on someone and change his life for the better. You know, I believe in our life, our job is to be a mashpia. That's what we're supposed to do. As a matter of fact, I think if someone's a mashpia, then he's doing his job in this world. You know, Goyim, they have something called a missionary. That's when they try to convince someone to go after their religion. Jews are not missionaries. We don't go tell Goyim to become Jews. As a matter of fact, we don't even try to encourage them to become Jews. We want the Jews to be good Jews. We're not into missionizing people. But we have to try to be mashpia on others, teach them the little Torah we know, and maybe one day they'll be great Jews too, and we'll be able to share in their reward one day in the future as well. I'd like to say one more story now, and this story is called Brachos Around the World. We all know that Hashem gives us brachos. The bracha could be the sun. The bracha could be the beautiful tree that provides for us fruits, or even provides for us shade. A bracha from Hashem could be snow. Look how it cleans the city. The city is blanketed in snow. What a gift from Hashem. Everything is a gift from Hashem. Our hands are a gift from Hashem. To be able to do things, our feet, a present from Hashem. Everything Hashem gives us is a gift. And we have to appreciate it. Nebuch, sometimes some people only appreciate Hashem's gifts when chas v'sholem, they don't have that gift anymore. Someone was saying how his wife got sick, Rahman al-Islam, with Parkinson's. And he started appreciating what it means, a gift to be able to get out of bed, a gift to be able to bend down and pick something from the floor without screaming from pain. So here's a story that happened about 100-some years ago. There was a man learning in Kollel, and he would be learning Torah all day and late into the night. And for him, this was the happiest life. People who spend their whole life learning Torah are called Giboirei Koyach, strong, mighty people. They're called Malachim, angels. I believe anyone sitting in Kollel is really an angel in disguise as a human. I'll prove it to you. The Medrash in Parshas Bahar says that people who keep the Shemitah year, they don't work during the year that is Shemitah. They don't go into the field to plow and to plant and to harvest and to sell and to make money. The David HaMelech calls them Malachav, Hashem's angels, Gibarei Koyach, who are so strong that they're willing to let people come into their fields and eat from the hefker and eat from like a free-for-all to help themselves and eat from their orchards during the year. So if that's for someone who keeps Shemitah 1 year, someone who's sitting in Kollel for years, isn't he also an angel? He's not worried about how he's going to survive, how he's going to make money. He's happy with the little stipend he gets, and he doesn't complain. These people are truly the strongest of Klal Yisrael. Now listen to a story that happened about 100 years ago. There was a man learning in Kollel. Yosef was his name. Yosef Chaim. Now Yosef Chaim used to learn with his chavrusa every day Gemara and Shulchan Aruch, and they would learn together the Rambam and Rishonim and Achrayim. And one day, he noticed that he wasn't paid like his friends. There were many members of the Kollel, and the Rosh Kollel would speak to them in learning, and usually would hand them an envelope where they would have some money to pay for expenses, their rent, some food, and it wasn't much. It was a meager salary, but it was enough for them to survive. But he noticed that he wasn't getting paid. So he thought maybe this week the Rosh Kollel wasn't able to raise the money from the Balabatim to pay me. Okay, I'll continue learning. And the next week, he was learning Stark, but he saw again the Rosh Kollel gave other members their check, but he didn't give it to him. So he figured, you know what? Maybe I'll sell my Shabbos hat. Of course, you're supposed to have special clothes for Shabbos, but you know what? I need food for Shabbos. And he went and he sold some of his begodim of Shabbos. The next week he still didn't get paid.